Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Talking Habs, Saturday Hockey Talk Live, where we talk about anything and everything Habs, hockey, and life, with your host, Rick Selly. Go Habs, go, and let's talk hockey. The road to the 25th Cup is under construction. Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to the Talking Habs sauna. It is rather warm in the studio tonight. It's I don't know if it's the last night of our heat wave, but so listen, we're going to talk about the recent signings and Habs rumors that are out there right now. The biggest one, I'm trying to think if it's not the only one, the Patrick Laine rumor of the Habs trading for Laine. So we're going to talk about that and anything else you guys would like to bring up. And that's right here, Talking Habs. Yeah, so Montreal recently signed 3 defensemen. As you probably all know by now, I would hope anyway. Justin Barron, Arbor Jacki, and Caden Gooley. All 3 signed new contracts. So they'll be here for a little while. And it's about the only news that's been out there. But there is this persistent rumor about Montreal being interested in Patrick Laine. So trade with Columbus because you'd have to trade for him. He has 2 years left on his contract, his current contract, and that is for $8.7 million AAV. Yeah, now just not much that we really know about, because if you go out there and you read stuff, there's multiple teams interested in Laine, and then apparently, because I don't know this for sure, GM Don Waddell over there said only one team has inquired about Laine so far. He's not giving him away for free, is what he said, basically, and he doesn't think anything will happen on that front till September. Oh, there's a dog barking outside. So Ray's going to bark. So I don't know what to make of it exactly. Ray, stop barking, Ray. Hang on, guys. All right. Yeah, so I don't know really what to make of the whole situation that's surrounding that. Hang on. She doesn't really listen to me that much when I tell her to stop barking, so I have to sort of raise my voice. And even then, she'll bark. Yeah, so like I said, I don't know what to make of it. Are the Habs interested? Have they really made an offer? That's reported out there that they've made an offer. I think I read that they made an offer and it was refused, but I'm not sure if I'm mixing up Winnipeg and McGroarty. I don't know. But it's clear Laine's not going to come cheap. You're not getting him for second liners and third liners and fourth liners, and you're not. You're going to have to give something of substance back. So we'll talk about that. And if you're here, I see there's a bunch of people here. If you're here, say hi. Let me know that you're here. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, if you want to make comments on what I just said or the signings, yeah, you can do that. And I'm going to see who's here right now. I can find my cursor. Isn't that why they call it a cursor? Because sometimes you can't find it and you curse. No? All right. Hey, JFed, how's it going? First one in. 3 solid signings. The young D-core need to step up and play more consistent. Yeah, but that comes along with them getting more experience, growth, them getting older. Hey, Leon, and you're right. This is something I just saw, I want to say a half hour ago, preparing for this. I should have written it down, but that's true. There's a new rumor out there about Montreal and Edmonton exchanging defensemen. Montreal sending Barron and Edmonton sending Broberg. I don't know that makes sense for Montreal to be sending Barron, yes. But to take Broberg back, I don't know that makes any sense. Right? I mean, the reason you got to move a young defenseman here is because there's a log jam already bringing back Broberg. Right? Leon, I see, agrees with me on that. So, yeah, I don't know. Remember, anyway, the rumors. They're rumors. And a lot of times, rumors, somebody made that up and it's not a real thing, right? Laine Ihuzu, by the way, Laine may have been seen in the airport here. I wouldn't swear by the source though, depending on what you saw. Apparently, it's possible that he was at the airport, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean he was staying here in Montreal. Could have been just changing flights to, and it's not 100% sure that he was here. Hey there, Kenny B. How's it going? So listen, if you're here, say hi. And let me know what you think about the signings. I'll give you my opinions in a minute and what you think about Montreal potentially trading for Patrick Laine. I can give you my opinion on that. And I kind of have already. But I may have a difference of opinion today, even as opposed to, I don't know about yesterday or maybe the day before. If Montreal goes out against Laine, it's not that bad a thing. I mean, you're looking at, definitely improves the top six. Having another goal scorer like that in the top six, that's not a bad thing. So, if they feel that that's the right move, I trust in the management here in Montreal. If they go out and get him, I'm all for that then. I'm all for that. If that's what they think they need to do this year, yeah, why not? They have the money. I don't think money's an issue. It's 2 years. It's not a big commitment. Yeah, I could see them possibly being interested. No, he won't give the moon. I mean, he's not going to overpay to get Laine. I'm not worried about that with Hughes. But if they feel they need to reach out and get Laine, I'm good with that. Rams, that's the thing, right? What is it going to take to get him? It's not so much what I would give up. It's what would it take to get him? And that I don't really know the answer to that from Columbus's point of view, I'll say, right? I don't really know the answer to that. So I have to assume, from what I have limited reading in that respect, it's going to take something like a guy like Barron or Harris, maybe both, and a draft pick. But if you're giving Harris and Barron, you're not giving another prospect. That's enough there. But if it's one of the two, then you're probably looking at another prospect, either a good one that's not been in the NHL yet, or one of the young prospects that has. Struble has been mentioned. What picks, though? I dare say it's no less than a second round from next year. Could be one of the first round picks from next year. And that, I think, will depend on whether Columbus retains salary on Laine. So they say they retain $3 million of his $8.7. Well, you got to pay something to get them to do that. So yeah, so we'll see if it pans out at all. I've kind of been expecting something might happen like any day now, and now I kind of am not. Probably, if anything like this happens, it'll be closer to the start of training camp. I tend to lean where you are, Leon. I don't know that I want to give up Struble, but there is a big logjam on defense, and one of them, or if not two of them, have to go. I'll leave it to the management. Hang on, I had something to eat recently. There's something still in my. I'll leave it to management to make that decision. He's stand the man. Laine or on the second line with Doc and Newhook. That's where I would put him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean you're creating two scoring lines, right? Like complete two good scoring lines. Doc, Newhook, and Laine. You got to figure, as long as there's chemistry there, as long as it's not totally devoid of chemistry, which happens sometimes. But you got to think that's going to be a pretty good scoring line as well. Takes a lot of pressure off line one. It also means that opposing teams can't concentrate on line one and shut that down, and you shut down their offense, and that's not going to be the case anymore. If that right, so yeah, I could see it working. The problem, I mean, listen, there's red flags where line A is concerned. There's red flags, there's things that might not make it work. Sorry, something in my pocket. I don't know what it is. Oh, my bank card. So I don't know. Is it risky? Maybe. I would expect Montreal does their due diligence in. And who did I hear talking about this? Hughes was a player agent. He knows so many people. You talk to people, see what's going on with line A, what was the case, like what the story really is, and you make a decision. I trust that they'll do that, and they won't blindly just reach out for them. So if they do, I'm going to trust in that, and then, yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, they get Laine here. No, St. Louis. I figure that's a pretty good coach for this guy. The way this team is bonded and how they stick up for each other and all that, it's got to be a decent situation for Laine, considering he's coming out of the player assistance program and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like I said, if they're going to do it, I'm going to back it, kind of thing. Hey there, Quinn. How's it going, man? Good to see you. So that's basically all I've got here. We're going to talk about that. I have an article. It's a site called NHL Trade Rumors. I don't know what to make of these. I don't know how valid it is. I don't know. But from what I can gather, there is smoke there, and Montreal is that team that Waddell said there's a team that did inquire, or there's no smoke and these guys are just making up things because they need stuff to write about. Sean, how's it going, by the way? That's usually the case, though, isn't it? We talk about all these rumors, blah, 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 and then, because I say this a lot, and then what happens isn't something we were talking about, right? So, but sometimes, when there's smoke, there's fire there. There seems to be a lot of smoke around this rumor, but again, doesn't mean it's valid. So I know everybody on Twitter has been excited about it kind of lately, the last few days. I don't know. I don't think there's anything to be excited about, that it's like impending any minute now. Rumors are maybe Habs going after Brock Besser. I think that's who you mean, in Vancouver. Hasn't that rumor been around for a little while now? I don't know. I don't think that's a current one, personally. That was out there, what? Trade deadline time? I don't remember exactly, but that rumor's been out there for a while. How about Harris, Machar, and a second-round pick for Laine? Just a thought. It might not be enough, only in that they may want a forward with more experience than Machar. But, I mean, that could be a possibility. I'm not saying no to that personally, like that. How would I know anyway? I think that could be a possibility. Apparently, they don't want to sell low on Laine. I think with everything surrounding the guy, though, you got to sell a little bit low on him. Plus, he's making $8.7 million, so. It might be a case of Waddell sort of inflating the price to get better offers, and then when it comes down to, training camp time, when shit hits the fan and he's got to make the move, and he takes a little less then. That could happen. It's hard to find stuff to talk about. What are we, 15 minutes in? There's so little happening, The signings were great. I love the signing of Caden Gooley for 6 years. The money's not bad at all. It doesn't kick in for another season, so that means he's here for sure for 7. I like that. Arbor Jackeye, it's just 2 years, but The money's not bringing the bank at all, and I'm not worried about in 2 years can they re-sign Arbor Jack. I'm not worried about that with that guy. Kind of like how Slav said he didn't care about the money, just wanted to stay for 8 years. I think Arbor, not that he maybe not totally care about the money, but I think he wants to stay here as a Hab for a long time, and I'm not worried about having to re-sign him in 2 years. For Justin Barron, good money. It's only 2 years, and it's a very tradable contract. So if they find they're going to move Barron, that contract's not going to stop anybody from trading for him. 2 years, 1.15 million AAV. Not, So good work by Kent Hughes in those three contracts, signing the 2 RFAs, and then signing up Gouli a year ahead, early, and getting that out of the way. So I really like that. The Habs, I'm not expecting them to do much. Honestly, I'm not. Move guys out, yeah. Bringing guys in, I don't know. There's the talk that they're going to bring in somebody for the second line. They don't really have to. They have guys to promote. It's hard to tell what will happen. It really is. I kind of think we're not going to see any moves from them unless they're ready when they've got a deal to move one of these defensemen out. I have a feeling unless they can do that, I don't know if we're going to see much happening. Barron is not waiver exempt, so you're wrong on that, but that contract is very tradable. They cannot waive Barron. Really, you waive Barron, and he's going to get picked up. So they've got to trade him if they're going to move him anywhere, or take a chance and waive him. But you're giving away an asset for free. That's never good. But it's very tradable. So if you're gonna, when teams, if they're coming and calling about him, there's no implement there for that contract. But no, the only defenseman right now with waiver exemption that's been here, whatever, is Struble. Struble's the only one that can go up and down. So that's why I've been saying Struble probably will start in Laval unless they move Barron or Harris. Struble will have to start because Barron and Harris both don't have waiver exemption. And I don't think there's any doubt in any of our minds that if you do waive Barron, you might not like him a lot, but if you waive him, he's going to get picked up, right? Especially with that good contract. So, and same for Harris. Harris is going to get picked up. So they don't have that as an option. So it'll all depend on the moves. But nothing happening. It doesn't mean a move can't happen. But I tend to think we're going to see a trade closer to the training camp. No, I think there's room. There's room as far if they're going to get a top 6 forward. I think there's room for them to make the trade and not have to move somebody out necessarily. But I think they need to move out a defenseman. They moved Kovacevic, but I mean that wasn't enough, in my opinion. Especially if Reinbacher and or Mayu have really good camps, along with Laine Hudson. I mean, they gotta have some room there. So, I think that's where we'll see some movement. And as far as bringing in a top 6 forward, potentially they could. I don't know. But I don't know if there's anything to make of this Laine rumor. But really, I mean, Joshua Roy, I would put him there, no problem. Promote from within, give these young guys a look at a spot like that, guys that are qualified, Joshua Roy is, and see. And then, if you really need them to bring in somebody, maybe then you make the trade for Laine or whatever, Um, David, I mean, is it tough talk by Waddell? Probably there is some of that for sure. But as far as giving him away for for a song, I don't know. I mean, that's a big asset. You need to as a GM, you got to manage the assets properly. Um, you got to get what you can for him. And you have to deal that way, right? Talking tough, talking big until it gets to crunch time, and maybe then. That's why I said, right now, sure, he's talking like that because he's trying to get more. When we get closer to the start of the season, you get a little more desperate to get the move happening, and you might take a lesser deal. And then if Montreal really is interested in Laine, they may be waiting for that. If really only one team's inquired, there's not a lot of interest. They just have to hold out a little bit. Maybe that's the track they're taking. I don't know. And unless they actually pull off a deal to get Laine, we'll never really know. Beal says, just sitting here listening because I wouldn't go anywhere near Laine. It's like I said, I feel that if they make that decision to do that, I'm going to trust in the fact that they did their due diligence in researching, asking around, finding out what that situation there with him is. And if they pull the trigger, then I feel comfortable that they know what they're doing. Does Ross still have waiver exemption? I don't know. To me, though, was the guy. Hey, Larry the Cable Guy. How's it going, man? Good to see you out there. They have 5 lines with Roy. The only one that can be sent now. I'm not sure what you mean by they have 5 lines with Roy. Anyways, they do have options. They have options, and if they feel that there isn't a good option, they'll make a move to get somebody. Right? Will it be Laine? Maybe. Will it be somebody else? Probably somebody else. But that's the rumor that's out there. We're just trying to deal with rumors. Anybody hear any other rumors that I haven't heard? Maybe, and let me know in here. And yeah, Jesus, I don't know. This show's gonna go quick tonight. Not a bad thing. It's freaking hot in here. Oh boy, it's that time of year. Although realistically, another 3 weeks of this kind of weather, and then the weather should shift back to nicer, cooler weather. Yeah, the Brock Besser rumor. I think, Leon, that's an older rumor. No. Am I wrong on that? That the Brock Besser rumor is not an old rumor? I mean older. Currently, the only ones I've been reading current is Line A, and then the one today. I can't remember what it is. Someone mentioned it before. And that's all I've really heard right now. Oh, I see what you're saying, Sean. Yeah, but even if that's even I kind of feel with Raw, even if that's the case, they're gonna give him the shot there. I think it's time. He's ready for that look there. What do I think about Nicholas? Nicholas, who's Nicholas? Um, You talking about the Besser thing you saw today on Lego Rocks? Yeah, I didn't see that. What do I think the Habs should do if Zegras from Anaheim comes available? Not touch him. He's young enough that he could be an upgrade, but still fit the Habs rebuild. Yeah, I don't know if the character is right. I don't know. I think Zegras is not a guy that's going to move the needle here in the way that Montreal needs that player that they go and get to move the needle. That's my opinion. I'm not a Trevor Zegras guy. The rumor that I like was the Sidney Crosby to Montreal trade. Won't happen, but what a rumor. No, it won't happen. I don't think Crosby's leaving Pittsburgh. He'll retire there. Will they need to trade a forward? We need to add to put Roy up front there. Well, not really. Don't you think the Raphael Harvey-Pinard injury opened up a spot? Are you not taking that into consideration? He's out for 4 months, so. What do I think about Nicholas Robertson on the Leafs? Maybe to the Habs? No. He's too small. We already have those players here, and we have better ones than him that are small. So, no. I'm not for that. Rems thinks it all depends on training camp for forward and defense. Last year, they didn't hesitate to send Armia down. Will they do it for other if they don't perform? This is what I'm waiting to see. I imagine I guess it depends on the player because look, they knew. I think we all did that when they sent Armia down, they had to waive him. He wasn't getting picked up, right? We kind of knew this. If they have guys that they confident that won't get picked up, they might waive guy and put him in Laval. But having the Raphael Harvey-Pinard out, that opens up a spot there for a player to be added to the roster. You're not asking me that again? No. Okay. No rush for any Habs trade? No, there's no rush. Absolutely, there's no rush. Which is why, again, I feel that if they are going to trade for eventually for Laine, they'll have taken their time, make sure that, everything that I was talking about, because there is no rush. So they don't have to rush and make that trade right now. They can take their time and, maybe lose out on the guy, maybe. But, I mean, we just found out there's only one team that has inquired about him. So there's not this huge interest in Laine, apparently, right? I'm not being quiet for nothing. I'm reading Sean's comment and trying to see if I agree. They got a guy from Montreal this year, and they are going 12-6. That's 12 forward, 6 defense. 1 forward extra, 1 D extra. That leaves 2, not counting RHP. Just the reason I'm hesitating, I don't know if Joshua Roy is on their roster for the big team or not. I'm going to look and see if I can figure that out. Just give me a second. Nope. Let's see. He's not. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. They have 12 on. If you go on their website, they have 12 forwards on their roster. One of them is Raphael Harvey-Pinard. One of them is not Joshua Roy. If you take Raphael Harvey-Pinard out of there, you got to add two guys there. One, the 13th forward, and somebody to replace Harvey-Pinard. Because currently, with 12 guys listed on their forwards on their roster, Harvey-Pinard's not the 13th guy. So I still say that there's room. You think Alex Barré-Boulet is the guy that should take RHP's place? I think that's a possibility that it could be Barré-Boulet. I didn't in my video lineup projection. That's what I put. Are there any other young players who are about to break out that the Habs could look at? You talking from other teams? Oh, I don't know that offhand. I could answer that. But sure, there has to be. It's whether they're available or not, though, too. But there has to be other players that are about to break out this year. You know, young guys. Tony, they're not waiving Anderson, and he's not going to go to Laval. They'll give him a shot to bounce back this year. Before they do any waiving or sending to Laval, they're going to give him a shot to bounce back. Well, Sean, I mean, ideally, nobody gets waived and lost to waivers. And I think it's like I say, I don't think you have to waive anybody here. Born to be a Hab says Hughes may use cap space to take a player off of a team that's being crunched by the salary cap. How about Cody Glass from Nashville? Wouldn't that be interesting, though? Because Cody Glass, when we got Nick Suzuki, Montreal wanted Cody Glass, and Vegas wanted to keep him and gave us Nick Suzuki. And wouldn't that be funny if we end up getting Cody Glass and have Nick Suzuki? Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm sure there's a bunch of players like that too, right? That teams want to move, have bad contracts, and you need teams with salary cap space to do that. And they could do a deal like that. They could. What do I think about Taylor Hall? Isn't he on the injured list, right? Isn't he injured right now? You mean about Taylor Hall coming to Montreal? Too old. Although for short term, if you're talking about short term, remember Laine though is only 25 or something. He's young still. Taylor Hall's too old. You're not really, in my opinion, you're not bringing in old guys right now. Anyway, you might bring in a free agent that's up around that age, but I don't think this year. Renegade Man, good stuff. You brought up a point that I forgot to bring up about Barron, and that is absolutely right, is that Barron is one of the few natural right side defensemen. It gives him that leg up on Harris and on Struble, right? So that's why Barron's going to be, I believe, is going to be in the lineup. Then you got Harris, in my opinion, as the seventh defenseman if they don't move him. And then you have Struble, who's got waiver exemption, so he's got to be in Laval. Hey, Robert Dario, how you doing, man? Don't know if Laine can handle the pressure in Montreal. And that's a good point. That's a good point. I kind of think this is the kind of team, where you got a coach like St. Louis, you got a GM like Hughes who treats his players well, treats them with respect. I don't know. It seems to me a good situation for a guy that might, need a little bit of pampering like that. So I don't know. It might be a really good situation for a guy like Laine here. Laine won't want our taxes. Well, that's tough titty, said the kitty, but the milk tastes fine. Not his choice. He doesn't have a no movement clause, from what I understand. Signed his contract, and it can go wherever it goes. And the difference in taxes, while there may be a difference, you know what? At 8.7 million, he can afford it. Okay, I'm trying to decipher. If the Habs, I'm assuming that's Habs. If the Habs are trading for a true top 6,000, I don't know what to do with that. Hey, Phil, how's it going there, Phil? You're late, man. You're late. No, just, not too bad. I really like Struble, strong player who can skate and fight. Very underrated in my eyes. The problem is the logjam on left defense. Yeah, but listen, he still has waiver exemption, right? He can stay in Laval, literally. I like Struble too. I think Montreal might want to keep that physicality as well. Remember that PK Subban $9.1 million contract. After taxes, he was only left with $5.3 million. Let me see. He's left with a lot fucking more than I am. I'm okay. Like, really? Oh, he only left with 5.3 million. Oh, like, I mean, I don't. What do you want? Okay, Phil, how many of those did you spell? No, I'm just playing you. Was out having ice cream on Wheelington Street. Ooh, at Nola's Ice Cream. Nice, love ice cream. They're not, I don't think they're trading Matheson at all. Matheson's your number one defenseman. Why would they be trading him? Yeah, no, I know that. I know Wellington pretty well. That's a good street for shopping and that kind of stuff, like you're saying. I was speaking into. Yeah, I know. I figured you were doing phone to text, speech to text. Excuse me. It's okay. I was making fun, but I figured you were doing speech to text. Oh, didn't miss anything. Anyway, so far so good. Yeah. So I know. I don't know where else to go with this. I'll just leave it up to you guys. Whatever you guys want to talk about at this point. Yeah, either this stuff or anything new. No one is going to trade. Okay, I see what you're saying. I mean, I think what you're saying is an established top six guy, but I don't know that they're necessarily saying they need to get. They might bring in a young guy that's on the verge, and a guy that has had whatever reason struggle, whatever, up until now, or they bring in a guy like Laine. But I don't know that you're not gonna find a lot of opportunity, I think, to pluck a top six forward or winger off of a good team unless they're loaded. What's the situation in goal? I don't think they're bringing in anybody. No, they're going to go with Monty and Primo. Young goalies are developing. I mean, I don't know what to say about anything other than like in particular other than that. But no, I think they're set in goal with Monty and Primo. I think if Monty and Primo say both have, not the greatest training camp, they're still your starter and your backup. Matheson could be moved, and I'm not saying he won't be, but just as likely to stay as well. What championship teams do you know that doesn't have that older, experienced defenseman? By the time that Montreal might get to being a contender, Matheson will be that guy, in his early 30s. Like your top defenseman and your most experienced guy and your whatever. Every team has that. I don't know that Matheson's going to get moved, to be honest. And to say just to mentor them for now, I don't know. I think he might be here for longer. He's got 2 years left on his deal right now. I don't think he gets moved before that. And I could see them signing him again. We need to find a Martin St. Louis undrafted gem. No, we can wish, exactly. Sean, there might not be a trade. I agree with that. They don't need to make that trade. And the thing is, we don't know. We won't know until they make the trade, and then it might not happen for a while. It might not happen at all. It might happen at training camp. There's a lot of options that they have. I'm a little bit more for them, using Joshua Roy there, because if you bring in a young guy, that's a longer term commitment. When you got Demidov coming in soon, whoever you're bringing in is more of a placeholder than anything. I don't know. Renegade Man, yeah, you can't trade for an established top six forward and give up nothing. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to give up to get. And that's the way it is. Well, Sean, but okay, so what's your thought on who, if they keep Matheson, who do they have to give up on the left? I mean, you're not wrong. Obviously, he's taking a spot, but either way, you don't see any. You never see a contending team with 6 young defensemen. It doesn't happen. So much rides on Doc, you think? On his health, I think you're right to a certain extent. Whether or not he's injury prone is going to be decided. Like if he has another injury, season ending, I mean, he's injury prone. At this point, though, he's not necessarily yet. So I don't know. In that, is Joshua a top 6 forward? You just take Took the words right out of my mouth. Well, now is the time to find that out, isn't it? I mean, you have a season where, if he's not and it screws up your season a bit, it's not the worst timing for that. So you have the option this year of using part of this year, or part of the thing you're doing this year, is to see exactly that, what you have fully in Joshua. I believe Doc will stay healthy, but again, it's an unknown until it happens. Jack Guy's going nowhere. I don't know why you would put Jack Guy in that at all. They're not trading Jack Guy. They're not. They didn't sign Jack Guy to that nice contract. That's very tradable to trade him. They didn't. They didn't. I can pretty much guarantee you this. Hey, Joe. Good to see you there, Joe. Does Beck make the team? I don't think out of camp. But he could. I mean, he could, but I'm going to say I don't think out of camp. I think Kara is the best bet for now for the top 6 forward. We'll see for now. Trading for one is harder. It is. Costlier too. Can be done. But no, I think you got to find out what you got in Roy. You want to see Suzuki, Doc, and Newhook as our top 3 centers. I don't personally see Newhook as a center. Not here. I don't see Newhook as a center. He's a guy that you can play at center when needed, but I don't think he's your center. He's my second line left wing. Unless he plays himself out of that, but he didn't last year. In 1 year from now, by the way, hey JF, we will have Demidov coming on the top 6 and a high pick for 2025. It depends what you call a high pick. I don't know that it'll be that high. I think Montreal will be an improved team. I don't see them as being a bottom 10 team anymore. So it's not that high a pick. It's not that high a pick. Wait a second now. Okay, so Google your Laine. What? You got to write that. I don't know what you said there, Sean. Google your Laine. Which one do you want to trade? If Laine is Laine Hudson, well, you're not trading Hudson, and they're not trading Gooley. They just signed him to a 6-year deal. Jets signed their third line center. Good for the Jets. I think it is going to be pretty much the same set as last season, unless something happens. I think to start the season, I think you're actually very right. There'll be changes, but I don't think it's going to be all wholesale changes left and right and all that. It's going to be a similar team to last season to start the season. Newhook did great at center with Galley and Armia. I see that line as our third line. I wouldn't say. When did Newhook do great at center at any time last season? I don't remember that. I just remember the first time he was at center, that was a struggle. The second time was better, but I'm not going to categorize that as great. I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not. Born to be a Hab. Eventually, we will get a look at Florian and Tuck. Possibly this coming season. Not to start the season, though. Well, Renegade Man, you didn't really have to go there because we don't have that happening. So there's no reason to go there for nothing. There's a Russian player released today, KHL. Forgot his name. No, I did not see it. You keep saying you're not trading anyone. There's no room for everyone. Matheson has to go. Matheson does not. Okay, let me ask you this. Matheson, 2 years left on his contract at $4.85 million. He scored 61 points last year. Where the fuck are you getting a 61-point defenseman for $4.85 million? Who's a veteran, experienced, and a really good mentor for your young guys. Tell me where you're going to get that. To say that he's got to go. Like, what? No, I don't agree with that. Newhook is better on the wing. Newhook is way better on the wing, in my opinion. The guy was released to play in America. Well, we're in Canada, so I guess that must rule out Montreal. Just because some kid was released out of Russia doesn't mean we got to go, we got to be the ones to sign. Like, doesn't mean that at all. There were concerns about Demidov's numbers in the KHL. Why? Because he had 4 games and he didn't put up any points in very limited minutes. Like, really? That's a concern? For a 17-year-old? Where will he play? I'm hoping it's not the MHL. It could be the VHL, which is a step up from the MHL. But I mean, ultimately, he needs to play with SKA. He can't be loaned like Michkov was to Sochi. There's a rule there in the KHL in your last season of a contract, you can't be loaned to another team, apparently. So he can't. Michkov was loaned because he had 3 years left on his deal. So he's got to play the KHL. The Habs really want him to play. Apparently, they have an agreement with them. They've talked, they've met, and he's going to play there in Scott or SKA. We'll find out. Matheson is extremely necessary for the young Ds coming through. That mentorship, the experience, all that, and you're getting a 61-point defenseman for $4.85 million. Think about that. Gooley is going to get 5.55. Nothing wrong with Gooley, but there's no experience there, and he hasn't put up anywhere near 61 points. And you're getting Matheson for 4.85. I wouldn't move that contract. And Tony, he does have a day on his sweater for a reason. Who are my 6D in 2 years? In 2 years. Matheson Gooley, Hudson Reinbacher, Jacki Mayu, and the 7th D could be a number of guys. That's who I see it right now. Did I leave anybody out? People are comparing Michkov's numbers to Demidov. Okay, but I mean, Michkov played 44 games in the KHL. Demidov played 4 games, limited ice time. What's to compare? You can't compare that. In my opinion, you can't. Hey there, Seb. Laine arrived in Montreal today, could simply be on vacation. Yeah, if he's in Montreal, he could be having, switching flights. You change flights here. There's a lot of reasons why he could have been here. It's also not 100% confirmed that he was in Montreal at the airport. So, Hudson might be squeezed out of the lineup to win the Calder in the upcoming season. Okay, that doesn't make sense what you said. If he's squeezed out of the lineup, he won't win the Calder. No? I think he meant squeezed into the lineup, but I don't know if that's squeezing. I have him nowhere else but being on that second line with Savard. I'll say this, though, if you're thinking. Hudson starts in Montreal out of camp. The only way he goes to Laval is he plays his way out of Montreal down to Laval. And personally, how bad would he have to play for them to do that? He'd have to just really show nothing. I don't think that's going to happen with that kid. So, no, Laine is going to be here. No worries, Joe. I figured it out. It's no worries. A problem that Montreal is going to have, and it's a good problem to have, is for the first time in I don't know how many years, there's a lot of talent at every position, and there's tough choices to make. And, I mean, this is a good thing to have, this problem. What contracts they got to move probably 2 defensemen, over probably in the offseason. If not now, like if they don't move Harris, you probably got to move 2 defensemen by the trade deadline even, or definitely the offseason next offseason. What contracts do they have to move to get better now? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like to make the guarantee to make the playoffs? I don't think that's important to be guaranteed to make the playoffs this season. I don't think they have to move too much. Defenseman, left side defenseman. Sean, I don't know why you want to get me to say that guys are going on waivers. I'm not going to say that. Oh, I see. That's what you're saying? Squeeze out of the Calder race. Why would he be squeezed out? I think Hudson could come in. He could be in the top 3. So he could be in, a finalist for the Calder. If Hudson comes in and puts up in the area of 50 points, it's going to be in that Calder race. Reinbacher would be the dark horse in making the team. I think both Reinbacher and Mailloux are dark horses to make the team out of camp. Yeah. Yeah, Renegade Man, to some point in the season. It may be all season for both those guys in Laval, but I think at some point, one or both of them is in Montreal by the end of the season. Joe, I don't believe Hudson's going to get squeezed out of the lineup, no. How close are the Habs with 50 contracts. I don't know the answer to that offhand. There is 9 counting Laine. They can only have 7. So wait, they're at. If they can only have 7, they're at 43 contracts. Last I heard, they were somewhere down like around 41 or 42. So it's harder without cap friendly. It's harder to get that information that easily straight up. Although that new place, Puckpedia, is not bad. Who do I think are the favorites to win the Calder? Celebrini's got to be in there. From what I understand, I think it's Celebrini and Michkov might be favorites in that respect right now. I'm trying to think of other names, and I can't think of anybody else offhand, you know. Where would Hudson fit in? Oh, Joe, I don't have a doubt. Hudson's going to play second pairing with Savard. I believe that to my core. Unless something changes, I wouldn't predict it. Oilers need depth. Bowman always gets Joseph in trades. Hosed. Yeah. Yeah. I did a final standings prediction for next season. Video's been out there for a while. I had Edmonton third place in the division. A lot of comments saying that there's no way Edmonton's going to finish that low, blah, blah, blah. Then they go and they do this and hire Bowman, and I go, well, maybe I was right. All right, he's got time to screw that team up in his first year, even in the first year. Oh, I think Hudson is the one of the 3 guys there. Hudson, Reinbacher, Mayu. Hudson makes it this year with Savard. I don't know who he'll play with after that till Reinbacher is ready to be the guy on his partnering with him, but that might be next year, the season after this one. Celebrini will probably win the Calder. He's probably the favorite. Doesn't mean he will win it, but he's probably the favorite. There is a rumor, though, that Draisaitl is going to sign before the season starts. What did I hear? $13.5 million? I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, listen, if the Oilers are in the playoffs, which I fully expect, at trade deadline time, they're not trading Draisaitl. So they're also not letting him walk after the season. So they don't have much option there when you think about it. They have to re-sign Draisaitl, or that's a total failure on their part. Right? Because I mean, are you trading Draisaitl and you're going on a Stanley Cup run? No. So they got to make up their mind before they go on a Stanley Cup run at all with him. Rumors that yes of Broberg for Harris. No, for Barron. For Barron, I heard. Makes no sense to me because of this. We have too many defensemen, right? So why are you bringing in another one? The only way Broberg makes sense at all is if he's a right side D, and I don't know the answer to that. So if he's a right side D, then maybe that makes sense. But really, they're overloaded on defense overall. So I don't know. But yeah, if Broberg is a right side defenseman, trading Harris for him makes sense. Trading Barron for him, though, doesn't. Like, why? Unless you feel you like Broberg better, okay. Then it makes sense. But it's something that came out, or I read it half hour before the show started, so I don't know much about it. Renegade Bad, Mayu doesn't really have to be, how do I want to put that? He's not a defensive defenseman. He's not a stay-at-home-at-all kind of guy. He's an offensive defenseman. He's a puck mover. His defensive game just needs to be adequate, really, So I'm not that worried about with him. That's why when you pair them up, you pair the guys up properly, and it's not a problem as long as he's adequate defensively. And you know what? His one game last year, he didn't look out of place. So if he can build on that, we're good. He's going to be fine. People forget before COVID and Russia banned, Michkov always outpointed Bedard in tournaments. Michkov is a stud. I don't think that's in doubt in that situation. I think the question about Michkov is more how his game translates to the NHL. That's all. Clearly, Bedard's game is fine for the NHL. We don't know about Michkov's game. Does he have to have big adjustments to his game? I'm sorry, my nose is kind of blocked. Can he adapt to the NHL with his game? Like, we don't know until he's here and does it. Renegade Man. So, okay. So you say Broberg's not very strong on the right side. It doesn't make sense then. Which, listen, a lot of rumors are just made up anyway. So we don't know if that one is or not. What would the Habs do to help him due to his lack of size? Or has he filled out enough physically to hold up better? Larry, I'll ask you this first. Obviously, you know who Cale Makar is. Is Cale Makar too small? Is Quinn Hughes too small? I'll wait for your answer, and then I'll give you the rest. I'm waiting. I want to get your answer before I give you the rest of mine. Anything else? Are we running out of questions? No, I hope not. Not yet. Still a little early. We've got if we go full time, we've got about 21 minutes left. Okay, I'm not going to get an answer. Okay, so if you tell me that Makar and Quinn Hughes are not too small to play in this league, which is obvious, then neither will Hudson be because they are the same size. Laine Hudson is now listed at, depending on where you look, he's listed at 5'10 or 5'11, believe it or not, and 165 pounds. So, I mean, that's the same size as Makar and Hughes are. I don't see a problem there. I don't really care about Michkov because I'm very happy with Reinbacher. I'm confident Reinbacher will be a really good defenseman. So I don't think that's a problem. Plus, we got Demidov. If Demidov comes in and he's really good, I don't think we have to, thinking about we should have drafted Michkov. It's redundant anyway. You don't know who Cale Makar is? Excuse me? Cale Makar, the defenseman for Colorado. Did he win a Norris, Makar? Really? You could not know who Cale Makar is these days? Okay, anyway. Hudson's the same size as both those guys, so his size is not an issue anymore. Hey there, Matt. How you doing? Hudson is not a hitting defenseman. He is an offensive D. That's another thing, right? Physical play isn't really his game, obviously. So, again, match him up with the right guy, who I think Reinbacher is that guy down the road. And this season coming with David Savard, who's tough, who's stay at home, he's everything he needs, I believe. And he's going to be fine. I'm not worried about Hudson that much at all. Right, Adam Fox also, right, is not a huge guy, and they're all fine. It's the talent level that matters with these guys. And I believe Hudson has that talent level as Adam Fox, Cale Makar, Quid Hughes. He's going to be up there with those guys. Flyers would be wise to trade Michkov? Well, that's a new one. David? You're definitely not trading Michkov before you know what you got, though. Come on. Right? You're not. I mean, Michkov has potential to be a superstar, I mean, I don't think generational, but a superstar elite player. He has that potential. You're not trading him until you know that he doesn't have it. Then you can say, well, his value goes down. But yeah, you're not trading a guy like Michkov before you see him in your uniform. Hudson prefers the counter-attack, which is becoming more of a trend in the game. Hudson's good at pretty much everything. I don't know. We'll see more when we see him this season. But, I mean, Hudson he's going to be a great defenseman. Vegas has Michkov favored for the Calder over Celebrini. How they figure that, I don't know, but either or, right? Those have to be the two favorite guys for the Calder. Wait a second now. You say your concern is if he can stand up to the bigger, more physical forwards. The other two guys that Rick mentioned, as well as Hudson, all have three different physiques. What do you mean they have three different physiques? I'm not sure exactly. You're going to have to explain that to me. They're 5'10", 5'11", 170-ish, like in that area. How's their physiques different? Is Josh Anderson a top six forward? I don't. In my line of projection, I don't have him top six, no. Does that mean he's not? No, I just don't have him to start the season in the top six. If you pay small Russians big money, forward, one hit will knock him out. He will be no good. But you don't know this. I know where you're going, and I'm not saying you're totally wrong either, but we also don't know this till he gets here and we see how he responds to being hit more often than he was in the KHL. We don't know. Maybe he's very elusive and he doesn't get hit that much. We don't know. And anyways, he's coming in. He's on the ELC, so he's getting $1 million, $950, something like that, on his ELC. He's not getting overpaid right now. Style of play could. Well, did you not see Hudson play in the last 2 games of the season? That should answer all your questions. It really should. Josh Anderson is not a top 6 forward, says BL, on a playoff team, or the Habs for that matter. Also, I listen. The way he played last year, no. If he has a bounce back season, he could be, is what I'm saying, right? But I don't start him in the top 6. I don't in my lineup. Not at the beginning of the season. There's no comparison to small Canadians and small Russians, referred to Islanders for the argument. I personally am not going to, it's not a race thing, but I'm not going to be, I don't know what you call that. No, it's talent level. So I don't care if you're from Russia, from Canada, from US, or from Kazakhstan. I don't care. If you have the talent level, you're gonna be fine. Hudson's bigger than Caulfield by two or more inches. Michkov is a bit small. I want to say somewhere between 5'9" and 5'10". Yeah, he's on the small side, Michkov. I definitely agree. It could be a problem. It could be. We don't know until he gets here. They should have took that first round pick. You're talking about for Anderson? Yeah, that was not a thing. That was actually not a thing. That was a rumor that was made up by somebody, and that did not happen. That they got an offer for a first round pick for Anderson. That didn't happen, apparently. Guedon, yeah, I have him on the third line to start the season, Anderson. So top 9. Michkov is a goal scorer. He's more of a goal scorer than Demidov is, and Demidov is more of a playmaker than Michkov is. Demidov has a 200-foot game. Michkov doesn't really. So. Montreal. Okay, which Montreal midgets? Are we talking about Slavkovsky at 6'4"? Doc is 6'3" or 6'4". Anderson is 6'4". Let's see. Who else we're going to talk about? Reinbacher coming in, I believe, is also 6'3" or 6'4". Who's small on Montreal? Who you consider small still? We got Cole. We're not the Montreal Midgets anymore. We're not. We're not a small team. As a matter of fact, last season, they were the 5th biggest team in the league. Larry, no worries. No worries. I hope I'm not sounding like I'm trying to make fun of you. I'm not. I don't mean to, that's for sure. Anderson is still an NHL player who can play with any team. He just needs his confidence. I think he'll have a bit of somewhat to a full bounce back here. Celebrini is only 5'11". He's not a big guy, but neither is Bedard, but Bedard is only 5'10". And Crosby is only 5'10". So there you go. Didn't hold him back at all. No, talent level is more often than not, talent level is more important than size. Right? So if you got a small guy who's really loaded with talent, he'll do fine. Did I or anyone else see Michkov in Philadelphia the other week? He threw out the first pitch. Yep. The Phillies game was funny. Looked like he never threw a baseball before. Check it out. What I read about it, and one of the guys on one of our podcasts is Jamie Baskow. He's a beat writer for Philadelphia Flyers. He covered that and said, and other people too said he threw us like a strike. So I don't know. I didn't see the actual throw. Was Demidov the best, like the purest skill player over Celebrini? I don't know about that necessarily, but he was considered the best, the second best. I think he was considered the second best skill player in the league in the draft. I thought behind Celebrini. So we can get players from the farm team to fill out the top 12. Well, of course we can. That's what depth is for. But they don't have, why do they have to fill out the top 12 like that? They've got players that are already on the roster. Cole Hudson, Gallagher, Newhook. I'm just saying we are known for being on the shorter side. Well, Newhook is 5'10 and a half, something like that. Suzuki's 5'11. So we got Hudson and Caulfield. Gallagher, yes, but Gallagher, he's got one more season where he's really going to be making, playing a full role on the team. As long as you don't have a full line of them, and you got these small guys on lines with big guys like we do have, I think it's fine. And as long as they have the talent level that they do, we're fine. Not a lot of baseball in Russia. Very true. Their bodies could have, but I mean, you could say that about two North American guys. If anything, and you ask me, if anything, the Russian players are in better shape and train harder. That's always been. Renegade Man, yeah, 2022 Montreal maxed out on their picks. They really did a good job. Did they ever touch on the no? Why would I touch on that? I don't watch the guy. I barely know who Jeff Marek is. I know who he is, but I barely know who he is. I don't watch him. It's a kind of controversial thing that there's no reason for me to touch on that. All right, guys, I'm going to take off here. Oh, I thought. Wait. Well, you're not seriously going to come out and tell me that you believe all Russian players are on steroids. You're not going to come on. No, don't do that. Don't belittle yourself like that. Is Gallagher tradable, or is he too banged up injuries? Contract, he's not. I don't think he's tradable right now. After this season, though, that contract is down to 2 years. Either you buy him out, or he's injured and you're putting him on LTIR, or he's tradable because he had a good year. Doc is Canadian and clearly can't handle the physicality. Clearly can't handle the physicality? Why? Because he's been pegged as injury prone? Okay, you're allowed that opinion. Lindros was a huge guy, but had way too many concussions. He didn't last long. No, Lindros, yeah, I mean, concussions were a problem with Lindros. Thanks to Scott Stevens. 31 viewers and I'm taking off. Yeah, because my show goes an hour and a half. Look, see how long we've been on? An hour and a half. I'm 5 minutes short of that. I'll probably hang out the 5 minutes. But no, we're in our last 5. Doc's been injured every year since junior. Let's see. One was a broken arm. Are you injury prone by getting a broken arm? Last year's injury was kind of a freak injury. In what happened, I don't know. For me, it's still up in the air. If he's injured again this year and he doesn't play the season or misses a huge chunk, I'll agree with you guys that he's injury prone. I'm still giving it one more year. It's not as hot as the Habs. No, it's going to be a hot season for the Habs, I think. Game was a lot different when Lindros played. Headshots were all the rage. Oh, yeah, you could do so much more damage to a guy that it was kind of legal. You know? There's a lot of stuff they didn't call that they call today. Yeah, it was just a different game. Goon hockey, too, right? There a lot of goons in the game. How does Suzuki not get injured? Doc is twice his size. What does that have to do with being injured? If size was what it is, then Cole Caulfield would be injured all the time. Guys that size. It has nothing to do with size. Do you think the Habs should find some insurance in case Doc gets hurt again? What kind of insurance do they have for that? They have insurance on the contracts, yes, but it's not. I don't think for injuries like that. Not that I know of. Anyway, I never heard of anything like that. The kind of insurance they have for that is having depth. If that's what you're talking about, yeah, it's one of the reasons they got drafted a kid like Michael Hage. Hey, Matt Greer. I'm doing well. I hope you are too. Matt, unfortunately, we're leaving in a few minutes, and that was what the whole first half hour it seemed like we talked about. My thoughts on the Laine rumors. I think it's a lot of smoke without a lot of substance from what I'm hearing right now. I don't think there's much there. If anything happens with that, I don't think it's going to happen soon. From what the GM over there says, only one team's inquired about him. It's not this whole big, there's 3, 4, 5 teams that want him. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, but we went over it, So I just think it's fans pushing that rumor out there, but there's not a lot of substance to it. That's what I think. We watch tomorrow. Will be Habs got Laine in a trade. Yeah, but no, I don't think there's a lot to the rumor. But so most rumors are, right? I mean, it's just a typical rumor. That's just there's nothing to it. You're not really seriously trying to compare Henri Richard and Kirby Dach. I mean, you flatter Dach by making that comparison at all, but Henri Richard was a special, and that was a special guy. Come on. 5'7" and as tough as nails. But I mean, that, again, has nothing to do with, everybody's different. And you can't compare size or weight or talent level to say why a guy gets injured and why a guy doesn't. You heard Laine got KK? What do you mean? In Carolina. I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, Carolina? No, I mean, there's no trade has happened. So, I don't know how that would have happened. Also, New York Rangers. He's rumored. He might be rumored to go to a lot of places, but apparently, according to Don Waddell, only one team's inquired about trade for Laine. So, like, I honestly, I don't know. My thought on it is it's just a rumor like any other. And there's probably no validity to the rumor. That's what the old lady calls you. You're hearing good things about Atos Koivu. The improvements there from last year already. He's at that summer thing there. He's looking improved, faster. Just overall, he's coming along. He's got a shot to make the team. I think Koivu's kid might take 2-3 years. He's got a shot. I'm staying longer. That's why I'm doing this one. So I'm staying a little longer. I don't know how much longer, but I'm going to just do this before. So hang on. Now I can breathe again. There you go. That'll help. All right. If you want me to stay longer, you got to kind of fill the void with questions. I shot my load tonight. I got nothing. Anyway, this was my sheet for tonight. It's kind of blank anyway, so it wasn't much there. Suzuki strikes me as someone who is constantly in motion. I don't know so much about Doc, but when you're always moving, you are harder to hit. I mean, yeah, I guess, but I'm putting in the OT in the sauna too because it's fucking hot in here. Another reason why I don't mind. Even my glasses are getting steamed up a bit, so he's hot. Insurance meaning other players who can step in. What did I miss then? Who said anything about insurance before? I'm missing you. When did you mention insurance before, Larry? I mean, who's to know why guys are more injury prone than others? Why guys, some guys are smaller and can take the beating and some guys bigger can't. I mean, who's to know? Well, David, I don't know what you mean by bigger. If you're thinking of Saku Koivu's kid, so he's small, well, you're wrong. He's depending on where you'll see. He's either 6 feet or 6'1". Now, if he's 6'1", I mean that's not small. I don't have a problem with a guy who's 6'1", and he's not Koivu. He's not his dad. His dad was 5'10", I think. He's definitely not that. No, I like the idea of a Saku Koivu at 6 foot or 6'1". Go take a dip in those clean. I'm not. I mean, there's water not that far. There's a river, but I'm not going to swim in it. Nope. Well, Larry, you're always welcome. We definitely like having you here. So, anyway, listen, it's the off season. Once the games are back, and I'm on a more regular, I guess. Yeah, there'll be more opportunity. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, if you're well, but I mean, I don't know what you expected Koivu's kid to be. I don't know. But if he's got his dad's character and drive, I wouldn't write him off. But Larry, I mean, I don't change my answer. Who's to say why one player over another is more durable? Talent level, well, we don't know yet with Doc. It's hard to compare talent level for most players to Henri Richard. Come on. As far as durability, again, who's to say one guy? Sorry about that, my dog. Hang on. She doesn't listen to me. But who's to say? One guy who's small and can take everything and plays 20 years and never gets hurt, and one guy who's big gets hurt every year. I don't know why. No, she don't listen to me. Q camps open in 2 weeks. NHL camps open in about 5 or 6 weeks. The injuries only caught up to Bobby Orr because knee surgeries, were not nearly as good as they are today. If Bobby Orr had those surgeries today, he would have had a much longer career. So injuries, everyone gets hurt sometime. But no, with Bobby Orr, I mean, really, it was the knee surgeries that caught up to him. And a lot of the reasons why he got injured again was because of the poor knee surgeries. So that's what I remember. Henri played in a much tougher game, and that is true. Well, it depends how you look at it, though. Today's game is a lot faster. Guys hitting with weapons, literal weapons, elbows and all that, shoulder pads that are not what they were in the day. So I don't know. And he wore the C, for the last 2-3 years, 2-3 seasons of his career, maybe longer, but not that much. Larry, I mean, we don't know what his son has, but if Koivu's kid has what his dad had, he should be a good player, and I wouldn't count him out. BL, knee surgeries today and back then were very different, and if they were the quality they are today and the ease and the less invasive surgeries, he wouldn't have had so many knee injuries. It was the quality of the techniques and the brutal invasiveness of the surgeries too. So he would have had a longer career if he was playing today. If you go based on that. Koivu's never forget that game. You saw knee surgery done with beak-nosed pliers. Well, it's a surgical instrument. It's not just the kind you get, that we would use. I've seen a knee surgery. It looks horrible. Knee all open. Oh my God. And this was a while back, so it was like more of the old technique than today. BL, yeah, back in 76. I think it was 76 or 78. I think 76. I think it was Phil Esposito said that Bobby Orr on one leg was the best player on the team. Hlinka Gretzky tournament starts Monday. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get TSN, so I won't. I don't usually watch it. Matt Vader, that counts as spamming. Don't do it. Why don't you switch us to the other channel and continue the discussion there? Or if you have a planned discussion, let's see what you have in store for us. No, I've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. I don't want to go do another hour and 40 minutes on the other channel. You kidding me? I'm about done. 76 Canada Cup. Yeah, that's what it was. Matt Vader, you keep that up. Even though I'm leaving, you're going to get booted. That's called spam. Stop doing it. It's not even funny. It's annoying if it's anything. It's fucking annoying. No, I'm sorry. I appreciate that everybody wants me to stick around and everything. I do appreciate that, but problem is when you do live streams, past 90 minutes for somebody who might come along and see, oh, well, it already happened. Well, maybe I want to watch it. When you see that it's 2 hours, 90 minutes is not bad. But when it's longer than that, people still want to click on them. So that's why I don't like to go longer than 90 minutes here. Put in for double time? Who's going to pay me double time? I'm the boss. And I'm not booting him because I'm leaving now, so he gets a break. No, I don't want one word. No, that's just annoying, Matt. It's just fucking annoying. I'm telling you. It is fucking annoying. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to take off because I'm really hot. I got to eat supper. And yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of stuff you can do on Saturday night. Come on. I'm sure you guys all have something to do. I'll be back next Saturday as usual. Let's go over what I've got coming up. I don't have much coming up this week. It's a quiet week. Oh, I'll give you something to do. Oh shit, wrong day. Hang on a second. Shit, nothing on. I've got nothing on my next week's schedule. So, what I am doing it though is I don't know if you guys have seen it. Any of you have? It's the interview video compilation. Post draft, what we thought of the draft and how our teams did. So question 1 is out. So check that out. There's something to do. I will be working on. I've got 5 more questions to edit. So there'll be 5 more videos coming out, over the next week or so. And yeah, there's something. All right, let's see. All right, everybody. Okay, I'm reading all the comments. Thanks. I appreciate all the comments. And listen, thanks everybody for being here. I do appreciate it. Sorry to be running away early, I guess. But yeah. Have a great night. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of the evening. There's lots of time. It's only Saturday. It's not even 10. And I'll be back soon. Till then, stay safe out there. Peace out. And enjoy the night. Thanks for watching. Ciao, everybody. Go Habs, go.